from Kern Government Television. Welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Thank you. Let me call to order the 2 p.m. session of the regular meeting of Tuesday, September 24th. First item's roll call.
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Flores.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
She's here. Next is a report on actions taken in closed session. Ms. Raison, I have an announcement after you give your report.
Good afternoon, Chairman, board members. This morning, you met on items 59 through 62 in closed session, and there is no reportable action.
Thank you. Regarding item 60, I can report that Elizabeth Chavez, Director of Child Support Services, notified the board of her intention to retire effective November 1st. Elizabeth, or Liz, as we all know her by, served as Child Support Program Manager from 2006 to 2015 when she retired the first time. She was coaxed out of retirement a year later and returned to the department in the position of Assistant Director of Child Support Services, and in October of 2017, she was appointed Director of Child Support. We will talk more about Liz at a future board meeting. In the meantime, a recruitment will occur for her replacement. Thank you very much. The next item is the consent agenda. All items listed with a CA or a C above the item number are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. We can act on those all in one motion. If you would like to make a comment about any of the items on the agenda or ask for separate consideration, a board member has to remove it from the agenda, but you can request it. The consent agenda starts on page 3. There is a consent item on page 3. It's item CA number 4. We're removing that from the consent calendar, so we're not going to hear that. We're not going to be voting on that in our first action. That will be heard in its normal sequence between items 3 and 5. So the consent agenda really starts on page 4, consists of items 6 through 8. On to page 5, all the items 9 through 13. Page 6, all the items 14 through 21. Page 7, items 22 through 29. Page 8, items 30 through 36. Page 9, items 37 through 43. Page 10, items 44 through 50. And page 11, all the items 51 through 59. Is there anyone here that wants, sorry. Oh, we have a correction, don't we? I apologize. Which item number was that? On item 6, we have a small correction to the recommended action. Recommended action is that part which is in all caps. And after it says the word approve and then a semicolon, it currently says adopt resolution. That should be stricken and replaced with waive reading and introduce ordinance. That's the actual recommended action for item 6. Is there anyone here that would like to make any comment or ask any questions about any of the consent calendar items? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Sandra Melgoza Plasencia, and I am the current policy advocate at Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability. Wanted to come down here and thank the county for allocating funding for the Fuller Acres Park. I know the bid is finally out. Folks have been patiently waiting for this park for a very long time, so just wanted to come and thank y'all for that work. Community, unfortunately, is not able to make it today. Most are working or, it's school time, but they did express their gratitude and thankfulness to the county for ensuring that this park is going to start hopefully next year. And I know folks have been speaking about having a carne asada and a huge party when the park finally starts. So we're excited to see how this goes the next year, but just wanted to show our gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the board for a motion on the consent calendar.
Motion to approve. Second.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, that takes us back to page 2 at the top. Item 1 is public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on the agenda but under the jurisdiction of the board. And I'd like to take a moment, if I may, just before we get started with the rest of the public. I know we have someone here, Salvador Gomez from Public Works. You would like to introduce someone and have her make a few comments about something that Public Works is up to at the Kern County Fair.
Thank you, Chair.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Salvador Gomez. I'm the Public Works Assistant Director, and I would like to introduce Alicia Gutierrez. She is a Public Works Marketing and Promotions Coordinator. She will be having a brief presentation on our participation at the fair.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board of Directors. My name is Alicia Gutierrez, and I'm the Marketing and Promotions Coordinator with Kern County Public Works. My team and I, Kimberly Baldwin and Myra Chamale, are here today to invite you all to our sponsor of the day at the Kern County Fair on Saturday, September 28th. As a sponsor of the day, we'll have an outdoor display in the main plaza with informational tables highlighting our development, transportation, and solid waste divisions, where staff will be handing out educational resources about applying for a building permit, how to report a code violation, reporting a road maintenance issue on the MyKern app, and also understanding the difference between diversion versus disposal at our county landfills, just to name a few. Staff will be there to inform residents of all the services and programs our department provides. In addition, Kern Transit's 40-foot electric bus will be on site for visitors to hop on and hop off, and we'll have a photo booth, fun carnival games for the entire family to enjoy, as well as our Rapid Cruise truck and trailer. This crew helps to keep illegal dumping off county maintained roads. So for many, this may be the first opportunity to interact with our department and to understand the purpose in our community. And we want to make sure that experience is beneficial and leaves residents feeling empowered. So if this coming Saturday, please make a connection with us at the fair and experience firsthand all the public services our department provides to Kern County residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for being here. I'm sorry, could we drag you back up here for just a second? Where will your booth be, or where will you all be?
Yes,
in the
so
fair?
we'll be at the fair this coming Saturday, September 28th.
But
from-
location at the fair?
Yes, so it'll be inside the main plaza between the two exhibit halls, right
Okay.
when you enter the fairgrounds.
Right when you walk in on the west side? Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Bet. Okay, public presentations. Now, got that taken care of. Who's up first? Ms. Reese?
Hello.
Hi.
Do we not do the flag salute at the 2 p.m. session?
We do it in the morning.
And it follows through, okay.
Yes.
One thing, okay. Pamela Reese, R-E-E-C-E. Hello, Board. It's always good to see you. Always feel so proud to be acknowledged by you. My presence here today was prompted by a worker at the grocery store in which I shop at. She had seen me and my group talking one time on the televised Board of Supervisors meeting, and she said, so me talking to you would be like you talking to Ms. Perez. And I felt that I have arrived, so. Thank you. Thank you. And I said, well, what shall I say? What's your concern? And she said, tell her how bad our elections are, everything about it. Which, when I'm telling her, I'm telling all you all, and of course you know that. So, the reason I'm here is, I would like to invite Ms. Perez to accompany me in a day in the life at a general election as a poll worker. You would be paid the regular stipend for this magnificent duty, and it would be a wonderful thing if you're up to it, or anyone. It would involve the 2-hour training required by the state, and then we would set up the night before elections, and election day would be a 13-and-a-half-hour day. And I,
As good an idea as that probably is, as her political advisor, I'm going to advise her not to do that.
really?
She's a candidate, and she probably shouldn't be anywhere near the
Well,
polls.
how about any of you boys there?
I don't even think they want us there. It's not that we're not interested. I don't think we're supposed to be there.
Okay, well then disregard everything I just said.
Well, Chairman, may I?
I understand the sentiment, though. Sure.
You're so awesome. Thank you. I think it is so incredible that you had an interaction in the community with somebody who has seen you advocating as somebody who they obviously felt some familiarity with and comfort level with. I just think it's extraordinary.
I did too.
I really do. I think that's the magic, and I'm really pleased to hear from you today. You know, we're not really welcome there because when we're at those sites, you know, we have power and you know, we are perceived to be intimidating the process. It's the same reason why you can't wear a campaign sign for a particular individual, a shirt or otherwise, within 100 feet, because that's supposed to be a sacred space, right? A space where people don't feel intimidated, or you can imagine I'm in there and I'm on the ballot, but somebody supporting my opponent comes in. That will not be comfortable for them, or they may feel put out. They would feel put out that way. So with that said, I love your creativity, I love your ideas, and we need to be thinking like that. What you're saying. It's just in that one, there's some technical rules, and I can tell that you understand why that is.
Fully.
But let's keep working like that to figure out how the experience you're having here is the one in which we can truly comprehend. Because as supervisors, we're having a different experience.
For sure.
And you know that. And so closing that gap is so critical. And you're such a great communicator and a great friend to make that happen. So I want to tip my hat to you, but I'll also say I like your hat too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Reese. But also, I appreciate those comments. But also, historically, the board meets on every election. We meet here, AM and PM.
Oh, really? Well, good for you. Thank God for you all.
So,
All of you.
thank you.
Everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Who's next?
Good afternoon. My name is Karen Bussard, and I apologize for my voice. It's Bussard. I am an 18-year employee of the County of Kern and a constituent of District 3. Today I have brought here some friends and coworkers that are admin coordinators, legal secretaries, and paralegals. I have one coworker friend, Jennifer Schneider, who is a 13-year employee who sent me a speech that she wanted me to read for her. In the August 2024 Board of Supervisors meeting, it was discussed by Admin Coordinator Roseanne Jones how the 12/14/2021 MOU Agreement, Article 5, Compensation, Section 7, Classification, addressed 16 classifications, and all but 2 classifications were completed and have received their raises. The county's current proposal to the SEIU includes an 8.5% increase to the admin coordinator position, along with other various classification increases, all tied to the new union agreement and not to the last agreement of 2021, like the admin coordinator should have been. The admin coordinator should receive back pay to when everyone else received their raises, because this should have been completed with the last union agreement signed in 2021. The legal secretary position has not been addressed at all. A legal secretary in Madera County has a salary range of $20.41 to $25.11, and a legal secretary at KMC has a salary range of $25.17 to $30.96. These positions include very similar job descriptions. I reviewed similar counties and could not find a lower paid legal secretary than in Kern County. Both positions should receive salary increase in a side letter agreement. Thank you. Did you guys want this since it wasn't me?
Please.
Good afternoon. My name is Emily Sotelo, Sotelo. The last time that I came to address the board about this matter, legal secretaries had gone 11 pay periods since the compaction increase was denied and had lost roughly $1,900. I come back to you today where myself and my fellow legal secretaries, senior legal secretaries, and paralegals have received 45 paychecks without a compaction increase and have lost out on close to $8,000. The legal classification is 9.5% behind where we should be, close to $200 a paycheck. I ask, what could you do with an extra $200 a paycheck? The cost of living, housing, food, fuel, utilities, etc., is rapidly rising. For people like us who live paycheck to paycheck, an additional $200 a pay period is food on the table, gas in our cars to come to work, money that we can put towards rising utility bills. This has been an ongoing issue that I respectfully ask for you to please take a look at.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Monica Guerrero. I'm paralegal with the county, Department of Child Support Services. As many county employees, I have a second job. I work nearly 75 hours a week with a, yes. Yes, I work, of course, Monica Guerrero. Thank you. So I'm a paralegal with the county Department of Child Support Services. And as I was saying, as many county employees, I work a second job. I work nearly 75 hours a week, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, almost every single day and on weekends. I do this not because I want to, I do this because it's a need to help support my family. With the crushing rate of our compaction issue here with the county, I feel that it leaves employees feeling devalued. It minimizes our hard work and dedication. I think that there's a disparity between what the county is offering and what our county employees illustrate. It shows a severe need for wage increases and fairness and equity amongst our employees. I believe that the county's internal pay ranges are stale and they're not aligned with the external market data. Several employees who have been with the county for several years are underpaid in comparison to others who they work alongside and perform the same work or like work. Not only have these employees not seen pay increases that align with the competitive market, their responsibilities and output continue to increase, and they are doing more work with less people. There's not very much ability to grow within the county, especially amongst the legal profession or legal positions within the county. We're seeing that there are not tiers to our positions. Let me see, I'm so sorry. I think that this just overall creates stagnation within the county, and we see more and more people going to their competitors for advancement. I understand that you may not be able, or the county may not be able to increase wages or may not be able to increase wages or provide a fair and equitable wage for the legal professions. However, there does come consequences with that. It negatively impacts the employee morale. It leads to employee disengagement, unproductivity, and high turnovers. As an organization, we should be retaining our best and long-tenured employees who are high performers and are here because they want to do the work that we do. I hope that the board can make responsible decisions to seek fair and equitable solutions regarding our wage impaction. Thank you.
Thank you. We try to keep our comments to 2 minutes. Are there others of you that would like to speak?
No, thank you.
No? Thank you. Any other public, by the way, Madam Clerk, do you have the letter? Did you grab a letter from Ms. Broussard? Ms. Broussard, the first speaker? Okay. Can I refer that to, I'll just refer to our CAO. Thank you. Okay, that ends public presentations. We'll go to board member announcements and reports. Anything? Okay, that takes us to item 3, under the Planning and Natural Resources Department. Before I get started there, I want to introduce our interpreter, Fernando Lopez, who is available for anyone in the audience requiring translation of the proceedings from English to Spanish. Ms. Lopez, I see is coming, Mr. Lopez, excuse me, is coming down to the podium, so we can determine if your services are needed.
Buenos días, buenas tardes. La Junta de Supervisores me ha contactado a mí, Fernando López, para interpretar esta reunión del inglés al español, español al inglés. Hay una persona presente atrás de la mesa, hay unos audífonos para si quieren participar. Gracias.
Thank you. I should also say that you are available for anyone requiring an interpreter to address the board during the public comment portion of the item, from English or from Spanish to English, right?
Y también si alguien presente quiere dirigirse a los supervisores, está aquí en esta porra, yo también estoy disponible para interpretarles el inglés al español y el español al inglés. Gracias.
Thank you, Fernando. Okay, item 3 is a request of Clean Harbors Button Willow LLC to modify the existing conditional use permit for an existing commercial waste management facility and change other permitted land uses to facilitate the construction and operation of additional non-hazardous waste landfill units and on-site ancillary buildings on 640 acres located at 2500 West Low Kern Road, approximately 8 miles west of the unincorporated community of Button Willow. Ms. Oviatt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chairman Couch, members of the board. I'm here today with Craig Murphy, Assistant Director. Today is one of our 4 general plan amendment hearings for 2024. The project before your board is the proposed expansion to the existing Clean Harbors solid waste disposal facility operated by Clean Harbors LLC. This existing landfill is a non-hazardous and hazardous waste disposal facility permitted and operating since 1982, which is almost 40 years. The hazardous waste disposal facility activities require additional permits from the California Department of Toxic Substance Control to operate, but the non-hazardous waste portion does not. California laws and regulations require waste to be categorized and tracked to follow the generator and transporter in the chain of waste management activities to a permitted facility. Oversight of the types of waste, transport, and disposal is under the jurisdiction as well of your Kern County Public Health Department. The proposed action before your board is the land use authorization to permit modifications to the facilities and expansion of the site to provide a soil stockpile area and creating it as one contiguous permitted landfill site of 640 acres designated in the general plan for consistency. Some of these changes are required to comply with new requirements from Department of Toxics and Substance Control, which I will abbreviate as DTSC, for the continuation of the facility's hazardous waste permit. No changes to permitted waste streams are proposed. Project site, as noted, is in western Kern County on Low Kern Road. It's 8 miles west of the unincorporated community of Button Willow. When it was established and as we went through the conditional use permit processes, we did create buffers of agricultural land that are owned by the facility around this facility to keep other land uses from encroaching on the facility. Primary access to the project site from the regional is gained by existing either State Route 58 or State Route 33 on Low Kern Road. State Route 58 is 4 miles to the east, and State Route 33, the West Side Highway, is 3 miles. There are no residences or other sensitive receptors on the project site, and the nearest residential site is 2.5 miles northeast. Facility is not clearly visible until travelers are fairly close. The nearest school is the Button Willow Elementary, 8 miles east. A full history of the site permitting and modifications over the last 40 years is on page 3 to 5 of your staff report. The facility has conditions that limit details and list the types of waste that are prohibited. This is a list of waste broken down between hazardous waste accepted and non-hazardous solid waste accepted. The facility is not permitted to take anything but these waste, and actually the conditional use permit has a list of wastes that are prohibited. This facility started and is still critical to the existing oil and gas industry in Kern County for disposal of petroleum-based waste, which includes soil contaminated with oil and was originally designed for that purpose. Of special note is this facility is authorized to take waste from fire cleanups, such as our own Erskine and Burrell fire incidents, as well as other disaster cleanups that have to go to specialized landfills. The actions being considered based on the applicant's request include a general plan amendment from 8.3, which is agricultural, to map code 3.4, which is required by the general plan as solid waste facilities, changes to the map in Appendix E, which is solid waste disposal facilities and maps, to reflect the new acreage and to put Clean Harbor's name, to substitute Clean Harbor's name for the name that is in Appendix C that has been in there for quite some time. The zone change for 640 acres from A to M3, which is heavy industrial or a more restrictive district, exclusion from the Ag Preserve for 640 acres, and modification of the conditional use permit number 4, map 97. If we could have the site plan. So the intention of this modification is to increase in the permitted facility boundary from 360 to 640 to include this soil stockpile, an increase in the permitted disposal area from 160 acres to 193.3 acres for the addition of non-hazardous waste landfill units within the existing facility boundary, an increase in the permitted disposal capacity from 13,250,000 cubic yards to 16,674,000 cubic yards for non-hazardous waste landfill units within the existing facility, and construction of 4 new hazardous waste treatment buildings, these are called tank treatment buildings, to support modifications proposed in the hazardous waste facility permit renewal application, and construction of 1 latex paint recycling building. A full description of these project construction and operations for this design are on pages 6 through 9 of your staff report and comprehensively described and analyzed in the final EIR. Project involves different timelines for the different components of the project. The non-hazardous waste units involve the placement of engineered fill along with the components of a full liner system and leachate collection system. The facility is fully permitted by the State Water Quality Control Board, who is responsible for the protection of groundwater. The final EIR provides a complete description of the 3 layers and the functions. It's a geosynthetic clay liner, a high-density polyethylene liner, and a combined additional layer to improve drainage and filtration. These are common for landfills, and this construction of this facility is comparable to the landfills that we permit under our authority. A collection and removal system takes off any liquids from the waste through submersible pumps and prevents migration into the underlying soils or groundwater. The system has sensors and it's inspected daily. The full groundwater monitoring network includes semi-annual sampling, measuring water in all 27 wells, sampling of 18 monitoring wells. There's no evidence in the record of any groundwater quality issues caused by this facility in the almost 40 years of operation. The tank treatment buildings process waste as a pre-treatment to bring it into the federal and state standards for disposal into the landfill. Currently, the facility is using a different containment method for pre-treatment. These changes are required for consistency with DTSC regulations and the renewal process for the hazardous waste facility. The 4 proposed tank treatment buildings share a common modular design. The tanks are installed in recessed concrete vaults. The buildings are enclosed to contain any dust and emissions from the process and have a variety of control devices. The latex paint recycling building is a pre-engineered steel building with loading docks. For all phases of the construction, which is anticipated to take up to 18 months, the total number of jobs will be up to 110 workers, but they will occur at different times during those 18 months. Questions have been raised about the truck routes for this particular modification. As detailed in the existing mandated truck routes for hazardous waste, the same truck routes that are being used now are being required for the non-hazardous waste. The current routes have no trucks to the community of Buttonwillow, and that will continue. Condition 6E on page 38 and the detailed condition 65 on page 52 will ensure that any waste deliveries of any kind will use the designated routes that are currently being used. And I think if Mr. Murphy can show, the northbound route is the green route off 7th Standard Road down Corn Camp Road to West Low Kern Road, and the southbound haulers do that in reverse. And no hours are changing on the facility or other procedures for trucks, drivers, or load verification. The recommended conditions approval for conditional use permit number 4 modifications are shown on pages 36 through 56. And note that as this is a modification of the existing CUP, most of the conditions listed for specific actions have already been implemented. A final environmental impact report has been prepared and provided for your consideration. A full description of the CEQA process is included in page 9 through 23. The project was initially circulated with a notice of preparation for 30 days, which you received in July of 2020, and later recirculated for 30 days in August 2021 to include the DTSC use of the document as a responsible agency. A special scoping meeting with DTSC attending was held in Buttonwillow during the circulation of the notice of preparation. Spanish translation was provided and 11 comment letters were received. The DEIR was circulated for 45-day comment period in June of 2024, with the comment period ending August 12th, 2024. A joint public workshop with DTSC was held during the circulation and 11 people attended. The draft EIR and now a final EIR being presented to you contains 37 mitigation measures to reduce significant impacts from the proposed project, and a mitigation monitoring and reporting program has been included as Exhibit C to your staff report. We did analyze 3 alternatives: a no project alternative, a no expansion alternative, an expanded non-hazardous facility, and pages 13 to 15 of the staff report describes that analysis. The environmentally superior alternative is alternative to no expansion alternative. As required by law, Volume 3, Chapter 7, Response to Comments, was prepared, posted at the county clerk, the state CEQA clearinghouse, and provided to your board, mailed to the commenters at least 10 days before this hearing. Staff received 9 written comments on the draft EIR from federal, state, and local agencies and interested parties during the public review period, and each of the comments are addressed in the written responses. After the circulation of the EIR, staff received an additional comment on the draft EIR from the Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice organization and a local resident. These comments are attached to the staff report, and responses are included in our staff report on pages 16 through 25. On August 8th, 2024, the Planning Commission considered this case. After opening the public comment period of the meeting, Mr. Albert Giladucci, a member of the public and a resident of Buttonwillow, spoke on the matter, noting that although the facility noted over the years that it would be closed by certain dates, it seems that nothing ever happens to close. He expressed concerns regarding traffic, the facility being located within a 100-year flood zone, worry about spills and containment, and the aesthetic value of the Trembler Range being ruined by the existing facility. He opined that the state needs a place to dump waste and the county wants the income. No other comments for the public were made. Staff notes the estimated closure date of the facility is 2040. The primary use of the facility continues to be support for the Kern County oil and gas industry, as certain attributes of petroleum waste, including soils, have been determined by the state of California to require this facility. As Kern County produces over 80% of the oil in California, the location and continued operation of the facility is critical to the ongoing retention of the industry in California. To further protect the surrounding communities if the facility does close or change operations, the Planning Commission recommendation and the staff recommendation includes the addition of the Precise Development Plan Overlay District on the entire project to ensure that environmental review of any use of the soil stockpile area beyond the current requested operation is required to go through a public review. The PD plan does not affect the current operations, or they are already established under the conditional use permit, which substitutes for a PD plan in the zoning ordinance provision. The Commission voted 3-0 with Commissioner Dunbar and Skidmore absent to recommend approval of the project. This project has been evaluated for compatibility with the location, the existing facility use, and the need. There is sufficient evidence in the record to make the required findings for the general plan amendment and modification of the conditional use permit and recommends approval of the project. In support of a recommendation for approval, the required 15091 findings of fact and 15093 statement of overriding considerations have been provided in Exhibit A and B, along with a mitigation monitoring and reporting program in Exhibit C for the steps to compliance for the mitigation measures. The final EIR shows that after all feasible and reasonable mitigation has been imposed, impacts will remain significant and unavoidable for air quality. As required by law, your board can consider social, economic, and other benefits the project will bring that outweigh the remaining significant and unavoidable impacts. The statement of overriding consideration outlines that this is a important contribution to industrial customers throughout California, as well as to Kern County's oil and gas industry, as well as other disposers of hazardous waste. By expanding the non-hazardous waste capacity of the landfill, the project would provide a public facility that could actually take more hazardous waste and would conserve the hazardous waste disposal capacity within the county. Without the project, the hazardous waste stream within the county would be displaced elsewhere, likely at greater distances and with greater environmental impacts. Facility currently provides a fee to the county on the hazardous waste disposal site that will continue unchanged to be utilized for the benefit of county residents through your budgeting process. Besides increased property tax and one-time sales tax from construction, Clean Harbors has been providing direct community benefits to the community of Buttonwillow for many years. Clean Harbors provides $1 per ton of hazardous waste received at the facility to the local Buttonwell Community Foundation. And when the non-hazardous waste portion of the facility stream is no longer co-disposed with hazardous waste, but rather goes into the new non-hazardous waste units, the Buttonwillow Community Foundation may realize the maximum amount of $352,000 per year that is included in their community benefit agreement. Based on the whole of the record, staff has determined the project is sited in an appropriate location, has sufficient operational restrictions for the expansion of the non-hazardous portion of the existing waste facility and renewal of the facility permit by DTSC. The project has over 142 conditions and mitigation measures which are fully enforceable, and with the state agency permits, provides assurances the facility will continue to operate safely and in full compliance with all laws. Staff recommends approval of the Planning Commission recommendation, including the addition of the PD plan overlay on the M3. I'm prepared to read the recommendation, which does include the recommended precise development overlay, when you are ready to consider that. That completes my presentation. I'm available for questions. Once you open the public hearing, the applicant is here and prepared to present their PowerPoint, which you have received. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll open the public hearing and ask the applicant if they would like to kick it off. Don't have to, but if you want to, or we just want to open the public hearing, let's do that. Just you step to the microphone, state your name, and proceed.
Jose Lozano.
Jose?
Craig could do it, and I could just signal. Is that fine? Okay. Well, good afternoon, Chairman Couch and ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Jose Lozano. I am the Environmental Compliance Manager for Clean Harbors, and I have a short presentation for you today.
Thank you.
I will be going over the Sun Buttonwillow facility information. I will be showing a map of our facility, and I have some slides for a good neighbor to the Buttonwillow community. Our mission is based on sustainability, to create a safer, cleaner environment through the treatment, recycling, and disposal of hazardous materials. The Clean Harbors vision is to be recognized as the premier provider of environmental and industrial services. Our mission is to create a safer, cleaner environment through the treatment, recycling, and disposal of hazardous material. Our core values are truly embedded in our culture. We strive to create a workplace culture that fosters diversity, equity, and inclusion. We prioritize safety, promote teamwork and collaboration. We value integrity, deliver exceptional customer service, and drive sustainable shareholder values. The Buttonwillow landfill has been in operation since 1982. Clean Harbors took control of the operations in 2002. We are a facility that is 320 acres, 8 miles west of Buttonwillow. The Buttonwillow facility is a fully permitted hazardous waste facility, permitted by various regulatory agencies in the state of California to receive, store, treat, and landfill a variety of waste streams. The treatment methods utilized at the facility typically reduce toxicity of waste materials and make it suitable for disposal. We have a history of operating safely and compliantly. We provide safe and noble jobs for dozens of employees from local areas like Taft, Bakersfield, Button Willow, Arvin, and Wasco. On the screen, I have put two maps. The map on the left, you can see the Button Willow facility with a yellow star, and it shows that we are 8 miles from Button Willow. The map on the right is an aerial view of our 320 acres in which we currently operate in. Clean Harbors prides itself on being a good neighbor and partner in the community. Over the past 30-plus years, Clean Harbor has engaged in supporting events that directly benefit the town of Button Willow and its surrounding communities. Clean Harbors is an important employer in the Button Willow community with an expectation to grow in the coming years. To date, Clean Harbors has invested over $5.5 million in the community of Button Willow. Some examples of Button Willow's investments to the community include the following. Most recently, we sponsored the Back to School Night for Button Willow Union School, where we packaged up 350 backpacks with all types of school materials for the kids to be ready for the new school year. We have funded the science and computer laboratories at the Button Willow Union School and provided grants for track and gym improvements. For many years, we have funded all of the 6th graders to be able to attend Camp Keep. We provide funding for the construction of the Button Willow Town Square Park that is located across the street from the post office. Button Willow also funds Kern County Sheriff's Services, Pioneer Senior Center Services, and the paramedic services.
The pool or no? I saw a pool in here.
Yes. Thank you for your time and consideration. We ask for your vote and approval on our project today.
Thank you, Mr. Lozano. Anyone else care to make a comment? Please, how many would like to speak? Let me get you to come to the front row so we can get you to the microphone quickly. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Albert Gillarducci. I thought I'd introduce myself personally. Thank you.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Yes, Ghilarducci. Chairman Couch, Supervisors Peters, Perez, and Flores, thank you for this opportunity today. Without being redundant, thank you. You read my letter and stuff and went over really what I was going to re-endorse today, most of it. I still think, in the concern that I have, and I was going to give a bit of the history of it, but I don't think it really matters if it's been touched on and stuff, how it started and et cetera with Bill Willer. And I wouldn't interject that we kind of, in Button Willow, we really didn't know this was happening. I think at that time when Bill Willer started McKittrick Mud, they put a little bitty article, I think, on the back page of a newspaper, that a little notice that really it went right by us. It was a surprise. It was there before we knew it, and that is kind of hurtful. But anyhow, maybe that was our bad. Other than that, I still have a concern for a truck traffic increase. My in-laws live out on Corn Camp Road. I farm out there in that area. It's just a county road. It's impacted already by trucks. I'm very curious about the increase of trucks, if anybody would have any input on that. Other concerns were already brought up, again, without being redundant, being close to the 100-year flood zone. I doubt anybody, maybe I know Mariana probably was behind me. Mariana Boney was at those meetings. We had many, many meetings years ago at the Button Willow Town Hall band room, and this is when it first started, and we had odors and complaints, and we started having town hall meetings about this many years ago that really I don't believe anybody else, maybe myself and my brother-in-law and Mariana were there at that time, but it's just been going on for a while. Anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that. I just have my concerns and feelings about it. I've been in Button Willow for 72 years, my whole life, and I'm not planning on moving. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ghilarducci. Other comments?
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Paula. I grew up in Button Willow, and I continue to work there pretty much almost every day. I wrote one of the letters to the Planning Commission. If you don't mind, I'd like to read it. It's very short.
Sure.
It says, Clean Harbors should not be granted an expansion of their current facility. The town of Button Willow has had more than their share of hazardous waste imported into their community. By continuing to bring in more waste from other areas, it's a prime example of discrimination against rural towns, discrimination against low-income towns, and discrimination against towns with the majority of their population being Hispanic. Like my brother-in-law said, I've dealt with this facility for 40 years, and I know how it works. If you approve this expansion, it's just a stepping stone for them to continue to expand, to continue to get larger, and continue to bring in waste to Button Willow. And I just sort of like to know, when is it enough? When has Button Willow had more than their share of toxic waste hauled into the community? Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Paula.
Hello, Supervisors. My name is Miguel Alatorre. I'm here on behalf of Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice.
Can you spell your last name?
Alatorre.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm here to address some of the concerns that we had when we read the EIR, and also some of the concerns that we've heard from residents, such as the non-compliance history and the history of violations. So Clean Harbors is a facility that has a long history of serious violations as noted by DTSC. The facility has been designated as a significant non-complier, which raises the question, how can the county considering expanding operations at a facility that has failed to comply with basic safety and environmental standards, even up to this current date? Before any projects approved, the county should demand stricter oversight and accountability from Clean Harbors. Secondly, there are significant and unavoidable air quality impacts. The EIR confirms that the project would lead to significant and unavoidable impacts on air quality for Button Willow residents. And they are already burdened by some of the worst air quality in the nation according to CalEnviroScreen 4.0. Adding further pollution from this facility exacerbates the existing public health crisis in the community. Kern County should prioritize public health and reject any project that adds to this pollution burden. 3, environmental justice failures. This project disproportionately impacts low-income and Latino residents, violating state and federal civil rights laws. This EIR fails to account for the cumulative health impacts on these vulnerable populations. Additionally, Kern County's failure to provide translated documents and accessible public transportation opportunities for Spanish-speaking residents is not just an oversight, it's a violation of civil rights. Radioactive waste risks. There's a significant risk of mischaracterizing radioactive risks from the Santa Susana Field Lab, which could be improperly disposed of at this facility. This is unacceptable to the community of Button Willow and is a risk that they should not have to bear. Also, on the statement of overriding consideration, some may argue that the project's economic or broader benefits justify approving it despite the significant environmental and health impacts. However, we must strongly oppose any use of a statement of overriding consideration. Allowing further pollution in a community already disproportionately impacted by multiple environmental hazards constitutes environmental injustice. The health of Button Willow residents who already suffer from elevated rates of asthma, respiratory illnesses, and other health-related conditions related to air pollution should not be sacrificed for claimed economic benefits of a project that do not outweigh the dangers that it could cause to the people that live there. And so on behalf of Green Action and the residents there, I would ask that you guys reconsider and not approve this project, as we know that it's really dangerous, and with the incoming CCS projects, that could also add to the further cumulative health impacts that's gonna happen to the people that live in Button Willow. So thank you so much for your time. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Cadena. I'm the community organizer for
I'm sorry, your name again?
Brian Cadena.
Can you spell that last name?
Cadena.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm the community organizer for Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice. I am here to strongly urge the denial of Clean Harbor's proposed expansion in Buttonwillow. This facility has long and troubling history of violations. It's been designated a significant non-complier by the Department of Toxic Substances Control due to numerous serious permit violations, including the illegal disposal of hazardous waste such as PCBs and operating without adequate safeguards. These violations demonstrate a clear disregard for environmental laws and the safety of nearby communities. Furthermore, this project is expected to have a significant and unavoidable impacts on air quality. Buttonwillow already ranks among the most polluted communities in California, surrounded by industrial pollution, agricultural chemicals, and heavy diesel truck traffic. Allowing more pollution to be dumped in this already overburdened and vulnerable community is environmental racism, plain and simple. I also want to highlight the public process flaws. Kern County has failed to provide public notices and important documents in Spanish, violating the rights of local residents to participate meaningfully in this process. Statements of overriding consideration means dangerous pollution and harm to vulnerable residents. It is racism. For all these reasons, the facilities violations record, the anticipated harm to public health, and the lack of transparency, I urge you to deny this proposal. The health and safety of our communities must come first, and Clean Harbors has shown they cannot be relied upon. Thank you.
Any other comments today? Any questions from the board? Supervisor Flores.
Thank you, Chairman Couch. I think Mr. Ghilarducci mentioned some of the road impacts. Can staff comment on those concerns and what can be done to mitigate that?
Supervisor Flores, through the chair, those roads have been evaluated. They are actually underutilized for what they have been built to. At this point, the maximum amount, if they actually took all the waste up to their capacity, which they never have, would be an additional 140 trucks. But in reality, which is about 338 trucks, on an average day, there's 48 trucks. So let me say that again. If they could take every day their maximum capacity, it would be 338 trucks, which is 140 more trucks. However, the average number of trucks is only 48 trucks, 35 to 48 trucks, meaning they are not taking their maximum waste. There may be moments when they go over that, but they did a traffic study. The Public Works Department evaluated the roads, and the roads are perfectly capable, including the freeways, to taking that truck traffic. We believe that the commitment to a dedicated truck route is the most important part of this, that the trucks cannot just use other roads, they cannot use dirt roads. And of course, remember, the whole point of all this regulation is to track waste from a generator in Los Angeles or a generator in San Bernardino to the waste facility. So those trucks are highly regulated, everything from the weight to what kind of waste they carry to the truck routes. So we believe that no additional changes to the roads need to be made. Of course, the Public Works Department manages our road system, and they will look to see if there is damage to the road. But at this point, that has not been, there's no evidence in the record of that.
Okay, thank you.
Can I follow up on that a little bit? They're operating right now as a similar facility with the CUP.
That's correct, exactly the same facility.
Okay. And so is there an increase in truck traffic, or is there a continuation of the type of truck traffic they currently
There would be
have?
an increase if they got up to their maximum. So we're increasing the maximum capacity. That does not mean that all the traffic will increase. It depends on the market. But technically in the EIR, yes, we are authorizing them to have 140 more truck trips if you approve this modification.
Does that mean 70 in and 70 out? Is that 140? Is that what you? That's the way I read it, and
Let me make
the way I
sure.
understand it. But A trip is one way.
That's correct.
Okay. While you're looking at that, maybe Mr. Murphy can get ready for, there was also a mention by Mr. Gillarducci of the 100-year floodplain zone.
That has already been analyzed when the facility was built 40 years ago and has been managed through this entire time on the drainage requirements.
I'm asking the questions to you that you, I'm simply bringing up what he said so you can respond to it.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Chairman Couch.
Do you have more that you wanted to mention about the trucks?
There's more I wanted to mention about the comments, if you're prepared.
Yeah, specifically, how do you feel about the environmental racist and racism comment? I didn't know I was going to get called a racist today at this hearing, but we were. So I think that. Yeah, you missed that part.
So the issue
Yeah.
has been raised of environmental justice. First, CEQA does not require environmental justice be analyzed, and we have provided the legal background on that. Regards to environmental justice, the Kern County General Plan does have policies that require that we take into account the how we are citing projects in regards to communities, and that we're also providing equal access to everyone and not discriminating based on race, religion, or any of the other protected classes. We do not believe that this project, 8 miles from Buttonwillow, given the conditions and regulations that have been placed on it at this time, represents a violation of environmental justice. A violation of environmental justice would be is if we put no regulations on it, had no restrictions on the truck traffic, allowed it to drive through downtown Buttonwillow, which they possibly could if we didn't manage how the trucks operate. We have provided more information on this environmental justice issue in the staff report. I'd also like to comment on the presentation. We've provided a response in regarding to translation of the EIR. As you note, this issue has been brought up before. The appeals court did determine that we are not required under the California Environmental Quality Act to translate the entire document. Because DTSC was involved, they did translate the public notices, and those public notices were put on our website with a link. In this particular case, that was provided to the community. You will notice we received 11 comments. We provided translation at 2 workshops. We provided translation today. I do believe that we have gone over and above what is necessary by your board policies to provide for this particular project to support DTSC as well, who have their own policies about these types of public hearings. And so I believe that the history of this project, 40 years of permitting, certainly there were things done differently in 1988 than are done today. And I believe that part of that conversation is being presented to your board. This is 2024. The regulations on this project, including the prohibition from taking radioactive waste from Santa Susana, and that is specifically now not allowed. They screen for it. They are heavily regulated by the state of California to make sure, and Santa Susana Lab is not allowed to send it to them. So there is no radioactive waste that is somehow getting into Kern County. That was an entire other controversy that happened many years ago. So what I have brought before your board is the project as it exists now. Have they had issues that DTSC has said were a violation? Yes, it is an industrial project. Certainly the applicant is here to respond to that if you would like them to come up. Mariana is here, but at the end of the day, they have resolved every single regulation that DTSC said they were not in compliance with immediately. This is an ongoing hazardous waste facility that is heavily monitored, and now we are talking about the non-hazardous portion of it as well. So just like a landfill where things can go wrong day to day, then you step up and you fix them. Staff has carefully reviewed all of the history of this project and believes that today, this project is more regulated and better regulated than it's ever been in any of the conditions that have been brought forward in the past.
While you're pausing right there, I'm going to ask, since there were, and I'm not referring to the comments by Mr. Ghilarducci or Mr. Paula, I'm referring specifically to the comments by Mr., and I hope I'm going to try to say the Alatorre and Mr. Cadena. There were some pretty serious accusations leveled at the company. If the company would like to respond to those, I want to allow you an opportunity to do that. You don't have to, but I want to allow you that opportunity. Thank you. Go ahead, Lorelei. I didn't see anybody moving, so I assumed they didn't feel the need to do that, which is fine.
I would note that there have been no violations by Kern County. This project is also regulated by us. And certainly, once again, DTSC has not indicated to us that this project should not move forward. They have not made their recommendation on the hazardous waste facility permit renewal, but we have worked closely with them on this environmental impact report and on this project. I think the last comment that I would make is, would this facility be sited here today if we were making a brand new decision on a brand new project? I think the answer is probably. 8 miles is a long way. It is not adjacent to people's houses. It is in an agricultural area. There are certainly many things in your home that need to be disposed of in a hazardous waste facility when you give it to your, and it's someplace in California, this site, this kind of facility has to be established along with the non-hazardous. So as a reminder, the hazardous waste facility is actually not before your board today. What is before your board is allowing them to also build 3 new units, or cells as they call them, to take non-hazardous waste to free up more space for hazardous waste. I'm prepared with a recommendation when your board is ready.
Thank you. Before you do that, I want to ask Mr. Alatorre and Mr. Cadena a question. Could you come to the microphone? I believe both of you gentlemen accused the county, maybe the board, certainly the staff, and maybe even Clean Harbors of environmental racism. I'm going to give you an opportunity to back off of that if you'd like to, because that's a pretty heavy charge. But if you want to stand by that, you're certainly entitled to do that. It's up to you.
Well, when you say stand by it, I mean, I do acknowledge that you guys did your best in providing that interpretation, and that was great. But in terms of standing by it, where are all these facilities put at? Like, where's the next hazardous waste facility?
We don't know that yet. No one's made an application. Well, that's not in Kern County. So
it's not,
I'm going to take that as you're going to stand by your statement. I appreciate that. Thank you. How about you, sir, Mr. Cadena?
I'm going to stand by my statement. I would just like to say...
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course.
You bet. Ms. Oviatt?
Certainly. The recommendation is to certify the environmental impact report, adopt Section 15091 findings of fact, and Section 15093 statement of overriding considerations, adopt mitigation monitoring and reporting program, adopt resolution and recommended findings, approve an amendment to the land use, open space, and conservation element and Appendix C map of the Kern County General Plan, adopt resolution, recommended findings, and enact ordinance approving the zone change to the more restrictive M3 PD district, adopt resolution and recommended findings approving modification to the conditional use permit, subject to recommended conditions, and adopt resolution and recommended findings approving the exclusion from the boundaries of Agricultural Preserve Number 2, and adopt suggested findings as set forth in the attached draft resolutions.
Thank you. This particular facility is in the 4th District, which I am fortunate enough and honored to represent. So I will make a motion on staff's recommendation. I also want to make the comment To Mr. Paula and Mr. Guladucci, I understand your concerns. If I were you, I might feel the same way. I think staff has done a good job of analyzing this, and I think the company has, in my opinion anyway, has been a good neighbor to the community of Buttonwillow. So I'm going to be supportive of the project, and I'm going to make a motion on staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Chairman, I would like to second, but I'd also like to say I have a lot of friends that live in Buttonwillow. I've known a lot of people that have worked at Clean Harbors. I've worked with a ton of people when I used to drive past Clean Harbors every day on my way to my job in the oil fields. And they all are of different colors, backgrounds, beliefs, and I think they would strongly disagree with any racism involved in this. But that being said, I will second the motion.
So you have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for those of you that are here for this item and for speaking. It takes us over to item 4, which is also under the Planning and Natural Resources Department. It's a request for authorization for Planning and Natural Resources and the Public Works Department to implement relief actions for specific requirements of the Kern County zoning ordinance in support of those impacted by the Burrell Fire.
Chairman Couch, members of the board, I'm here with Salvador Gomez, who's the Assistant Director of Public Works. If I could have the overhead. Your board and Ms. Kraus, if I could have, yes? It's on the computer. I apologize. I didn't mean overhead. Sorry. Okay. So your board, and also specifically District 1 Supervisor Philip Peters, had directed the entire county to look to see what could we do for people in the Burrell Fire. This is obviously an emergency. 60,000 acres, destroyed 223 structures, damaging 29 others, and displacing hundreds of residents. So Kern County Public Health, Kern County Public Works, and the Kern County Planning and Natural Resources Department came together, and we are bringing today to you some exceptions we would like you to direct us to implement for zoning and building. These are small things, but we believe that it is the right kind of action to take to help people rebuild. At the end of the day, there will be many financial issues and other sorts of challenging issues for people in that area. And part of the intent of this is to take away barriers that will come up. And we've evaluated them based on what are the kinds of things that we could do that aren't going to cause more problems down the road. So let's first talk about rebuilding your house. Once the property is cleared off, they can build what they had there before, and we call that a legal nonconforming use. It means that if you happen to have it too close to the property line for 20 years, we're going to let you do that again. So you can rebuild it however it was. We've also talked, and Public Works and planning have determined that there may be people up there who years ago had a zoning violation. And maybe they were even fined for it and they never paid it. If they come forward now and we don't waive those, they will not be able to get a building permit. My understanding is and Mr. Gomez can answer this, that we actually don't really have anyone up there. But, please.
No, go ahead.
But if we come across one, we don't want it to hold up a building permit. So we are essentially calling an amnesty. We would like to declare an amnesty. If you had a zoning violation, we will clear it off the books. They will bring to your board and you would waive whatever fees there are. Once you rebuild the house, however, you cannot then once again create whatever zoning violation you had. You can't bring more animals in than you're allowed or do other sorts of things. So this amnesty doesn't extend forever. But we don't want to hold up your building permit. Third thing is that normally cargo containers, which are the big metal containers that you're familiar with, require a conditional use permit. The planning department would like you to waive that requirement and instead allow them 2 cargo containers that they could put on their property before they rebuild to store whatever it is they would like to store. They would have to come in and register with us. There's no fee for that. We want to make sure we know, and they can keep them forever. If they want to do a third or a fourth, they would need a conditional use permit. There are some restrictions. They have to paint them a neutral color. You can't put advertisement on the side of them. And you do have to go to the building department and get a permit for what's called a tie down. And if you have questions about that, Mr. Gomez can explain it, but we're trying to keep them earthquake proof. We believe this could actually contribute to a lot of peace of mind for people who are trying to figure out, you know, if I do go out and buy furniture and I haven't built my house yet, what am I doing with it? Or what am I doing with the things that I have left over? We have considered this question of whether they can live in an RV on their property. In consultation with public health and others, we believe that this is a problem. So we're not actually advocating that. But if you get a building permit and you have an active building permit while you're building, you could bring in an RV or a travel trailer, and you could live on the property while you're building the house. And that could also support concerns that people have about vandalism, about theft, and about other sorts of things. And that is already in our zoning ordinance, but we're going to loosen it up a little bit and allow people to do that. So once again, once you have an active building permit, you come to the planning department, you let us know, and then we'll register you, and you can bring a travel trailer or an RV in, and you can live on the property while you're getting your building permit. I think the most significant thing is we would like direction from your board and support from your board to bring forward an ordinance over the next, to probably take us a couple of months to bring forward, and we would like to waive fees. So the planning department is interested in waiving certain site plan fees and also waiving, for example, if they get a mobile home that's older than 10 years, like a 20-year-old mobile home, that requires a zone variance. We'd like to waive the fee so we can just take it to a hearing. There's a couple of requirements. And we're going to look at other fees that waive. I leave it to Mr. Gomez, but my understanding is that Mr. Champlin has committed to look seriously at waiving the building permit fees. This would be a significant contribution to people's ability. Many people up there have no insurance, and they are going to have problems getting loans, but that does require an ordinance. So we will be working with county council to bring forward a fee exception. As a reminder, there is a comprehensive GIS that specifically tells the departments which lots were affected by the Boreal fire. So this is not everyone in the world. This is a very specific geographic area that we would bring forward. The last issue, which is that while the actions for this emergency fee ordinance are going through the process, the request is that you let people turn in building permits and not pay their fees while we bring that ordinance back. With that, we're available for questions, and we appreciate the opportunity to bring this forward.
Chairman, could I hop in there?
Yep, please do.
Thank you. So first off, I just want to commend you, Director Oviatt, as well as Director Josh Champlin, Mr. Gomez, and your departments for working so hard to come up with this idea to help provide a little bit of relief, whatever we can up there for these residents. I did want to reiterate a couple of points that you hit on. There's some significant challenges as far as getting insurance, especially up in these high-risk fire areas. And while it's unfortunate, it is a reality. And that's something that, I've talked with the state ad nauseum about trying to deal with, but that is beyond our control. And also, just out of abundance of caution, we're not, like you said, we're not setting a precedent here for everything. This is an exceptional event that happened, the biggest fire in Kern County history. We lost the entire town of Havilah, which is our original county seat. This is a huge tragedy for this area, and some of these ideas, all of these ideas are going to be a huge help to the community. We've got so many phone calls, letters. I've met with people, been up there to see the devastation, and this is going to help immensely. So I just want to thank you guys again for all of your hard work and effort that you and your staff put into this. And I know that on behalf of everybody up there, they appreciate this greatly. So with that, I will give it back to Chairman Couch.
Well, we need to ask for public comment, but I'll go to you for a motion. Is there anyone here that'd like to make a comment on this item? Seeing none, you want to move approval?
I very happily move approval of this. Thank you again.
Thank you, Supervisor Peters, and I just so appreciate, I so appreciate Director Obiat, the, desire to waive fees and have the public think about government in a slightly different way than they normally do. I mean, we have to charge for services, we have to have money in the coffers, I get all that. But there is still, and you're so good at this, Director Obiat, that there is a point of diminished return. There is a point of just sort of battering the public on their duties versus our ability to be flexible. And this is exciting, the flexibility, just the forethought. I will continue to reiterate my personal and professional opinion that we have the best planning department in the state and quite possibly the nation. And I'm just so proud of the work you do and all the forethought. So, Mr. Gomez, you did excellent today, and you have a great mentor. Just keep doing what she says. And also second.
And the second, please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, that takes us to item 5, which is a request for retroactive, not radioactive, authorization to submit applications for the Community Development Block Grant 50th Anniversary Awards. Soviat?
Thank you. Chairman Couch, members of the board, I'm here again with Craig Murphy, Assistant Director. I am so pleased to bring, actually, instead of a retroactive, an actual award.
Oh.
So this was a quick turnaround, and we were in competition with Orange County, Riverside, like a lot of, this was the whole region LA field office. They were very interested in the Bell Terrace Park as well. But I think that the Bell Terrace work that's continuing to be done, I think we're in line for a different award later on, because there's more that's being done to work on that park. So I'm pleased to let you know that the George and Darlene Randall Skate Park, which is obviously in the Linda Kissick Park, won the HUD Community Development Block Grant 50th Anniversary Award. Once again, we were up against some really, really difficult people, but the thing that truly put this over the top was what I'm calling community champions. So, as a reminder, this project took a number of years. This project has been around before Supervisor Peters. And I don't know if we have the next, there we go. And so I wanted to make sure that you understand what it took to actually get this project done. So first we had our community champions, including Kern Williams, who unfortunately has passed away. But she was an undaunting, we need a skate park, raising money, getting $5,000 from the Tony Hawk Foundation, spending as early as 2016, saying we need something for the community and something for the kids up there. And we continued to work our way through until we ended up with an actual design and an actual enough money. I'd like to point out that besides my county departments, which is community development, Dennis McNamara and James Golden and Na Dang, who are senior accountant, who actually shepherded so many different kinds of money, I'd like to truly give kudos to Construction Services, and I believe they are here today, if they could stand up. Yes? Yes, there they are. Thank you. Including the designer Push Parks. And the reason I say that is when you work with a community, they change their mind. Okay? And this particular park had challenges. A dog park went in that we didn't know about, and suddenly we had to redesign the skate park. There were issues of how big it could be and what it could do. And I'm pleased to say that the community raised almost $80,000. the CAO's office at the last minute put it over the finish line, and I would really appreciate it if Supervisor Peters could hold up the award, which I've already given to him.
I wondered what that was. Okay.
And then I would like to, and then I think the other thing that's so amazing about this is the amount of use that park is getting. And I know that Jim Damien and his staff and everyone also put together an amazing kickoff for that skate park, including getting contributions of helmets and, I don't have all the details of that, but that was amazing. And so then if you could put on the overhead, I would like, because Karen Williams, this was a person who would not leave me alone. Okay, this is if she wasn't dogging Leanne, she was dogging me about, we've got to get this skateboard done. And so I want to show you my favorite picture as a tribute to her. She would just be so excited. But I want to show you a picture of my favorite picture of hers. If you could pull it down. That was in the Bakersfield, California for Give Big Tuesday in 2017. I really appreciate and so I'd just like to end by saying that the community block grant money that your board gets, that's given to each one of you, is small money. I like to say that we match it with other money, and in this case, match it with the community, and we do big things. Small money doing big things. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and it was a quick turnaround. That's why we did a retroactive, and the next thing you know, we had already won. So thank you again.
Well, that's awesome. Good for you. Congratulations to, I'll start with you, Supervisor Peters, but to everyone involved. Do we need a motion?
Thank you, Chairman Couch.
Go right
I
ahead.
wanted to jump in there real quick. This is yet another example of what an outstanding team we have at the county and our construction services planning department. Everybody came together to make this happen, and I, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate all the hard work that went into this. I know Karen would be just over the moon right now to see this happen. And it's awesome to see how excited the community got over this. And I don't think this project just precedes me. I think this even might precede Mick Gleason. This has been...
Yes, it actually did. And
Yeah.
along with the ballooning budget.
Right.
So, we really appreciate your contribution as well.
So this is very exciting to finally get this done, and exciting that you guys and that the community earned this award. That is fantastic, and to see the town come out, all the kids out there enjoying it, using it. They've been out there. One of the residents, I think it was Jim Limbeck, made a video of it showing everybody out there skating, having a great time, and it's something that the community definitely needs. And kind of coinciding around the time of the Burrell fire. So, we had that tragedy going on there, but we also had some really exciting news and something positive for the community to focus on. It was very exciting. So thank you very much, and keep up the good work.
I'll make a second. Great work, and maybe Tony Hawk will come to the groundbreaking. That's right. Right? Let's invite him. Big things happening in Kern County. Nice work, Peters.
I think in my happiness, I neglected to ask for public comment. So is there anybody here that would like to comment publicly? Don't see any. So we have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes. And go ahead, Kathy, announce that.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
If it precedes Mick, does that mean it started with John McQuiston? Maybe we should let him know somehow. Picture of that or something that if it started with him, maybe it precedes him even. I don't know. Okay.
May I say one last thing?
Yeah.
The next time my constituents complain about how long something is taking, I'm going to point them to Peters. And then it's over. Got it.
All right, so that takes us to the end of the afternoon agenda. I just need a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, October 8th at 9 a.m.
Okay, motion.
Without objection, we're adjourned. Thanks.
800.